Greetings, greetings, everyone. I'm live right now. How's it going, brother? You can hear me?
Yes, we are back once again. The best part of the week when we are on the show with Brother Metamorphosis, aka Neil Frazier. And he has a wonderful, powerful show today, which I don't even have to say it because when you hear the name Metamorphosis and Neil Frazier, you know it's going to be something with a heavy punch, no doubt. How are you doing today, brother?
How you doing, brother? That's a good intro for a ring walk. I'm convinced you moved up in weight class because, boy, you threw about 5 or 6 videos together real quick. I was like, okay, this is either like a hurricane. Oh, by the way, and greetings to you and the family and everybody. Always good to be back with you on Mondays. I saw the movie about the hurricane Saturday night. And
it hit hard.
Huh?
It hit hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fighter, the hurricane out of Paterson, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Melissa.
Oh yeah. And it was just amazing how the more things seem to change, they never do change, because that was way back in '63. And I was like, wow, man, this is really amazing. And this brother's story, man, he spent 20 years for, something obviously he didn't do. But Reuben Hurricane Carter. And the kid that became a lawyer that read his book, it was so powerful. And now I get into the show today. It was so powerful how the kid from Brooklyn went to a bookstore with some Canadian people that was, tutoring him or whatever. And just happened to pick up the book, The 16th Round, that was written by Reuben Hurricane Carter. And it changed his life. He became a lawyer. He was instrumental in getting him out of prison. So the point is that a lot of times we think we have to save the world. No, you just need to start with one person. Like I like to say,
that's all it takes.
Where you plant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, like your platform and what you're doing and the things that you talk about is necessary, because sometimes I really don't like turning on YouTube, brother, because they have our people fighting about so many insignificant things. It's just unreal. And we're going to lose this battle. But what we're talking about today is kind of going to refocus us back on the real issues that we're facing. And if you want to put up your banner, brother, great banner.
Oh, okay.
Good description. Yes.
It's very simple. I was going to do some more stuff on it, but some things came up that I had to take care of. Okay. But I wanted to show the black farmers as if they're working. They have a truck behind them. And I put the USDA logo up. And type simple. When I do the title, sometimes on the banner, it may be a little different than the actual title of the show, as they can see when they get up on YouTube. Because the full title is the USDA and white terrorism stole 20 acres of black farmlands. And if I have a long title that I put up, you have to make the fonts smaller, and it won't be as easy to read when people scroll with other stuff. So that's why sometimes I do that. So that's why I said black farmers targeted by USDA. So that'll make a person say, well, why are black farmers targeted? The USDA, shouldn't they be good people? And if I did put up a white terrorism, YouTube may try to flag it on the visual from the thumbnail. They watch the thumbnails too. The title, you can get away with certain things. So I said, let me let it have more punch. Black farmers targeted by USDA. And as opposed to have a nice picture of guys working out, whatever, on the field, they're there working by their truck. Looks like it's hot. And why would they be targeted? They're minding their business, especially when they have the land and everything. So this reeks of something suspicious because of the title and the shortened title. So You know, sometimes you can get abstract with some of the visuals, but I wanted to be just straightforward. You're seeing these farmers, you see the title, and boom, the curiosity should come. You know?
And the way that you use the words and the symbiology is perfect, because what you're saying is true. So, the brain tends to focus on, the words that are powerful or have some type of effect on us. So, and that's being smart, because these people are trying to derail, our ability to speak truth by any means necessary. But the fact of the matter is, like you have up there, the USDA, our own government, was complicit.
If they didn't catch it in the title, you'll see it on the seal. And then many people who work for them, who have to deal with them, and that would bring a little more attention. Like, hey, what's up? That's the official seal up there. Black farmers targeted by them? They're supposed to be the good guys. We know how it is, though. We understand.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I'm like, me and you were talking earlier. One of the things that I wanted to do too is, they hold up a lot. They hold our feet to the fire a lot. Okay, our people. While they, on the other hand, they want to present themselves as these good Christians and these people that pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And this is the message that they are indoctrinating young white people with. Okay. And they're using Christianity to do that, because this playbook has been successful for them throughout history. This has allowed them to actually do what they do, while at the same, it's almost like a magician, with a card trick. I remember seeing this guy, David Blaine. He used to do some incredible things with cards. But it's almost like a mind trick. On the one hand, I'm showing you what I'm doing, but like the young people say, spit game is so strong, right? That I can convince, or my body cam is saying one thing, but I can write down something else. And because the energy of the people who don't have any morals or ethics, but have taught you that they do, by simply saying a word, a letter that never existed before the 1600s. It's gotten to a point, bro, like me and you were talking earlier, is we can no longer try to look at this, as if, okay, well, things will get better, no, they're not. They're not going to get any better. It was the blood of Black folks, the terror that they went through, the things that our own U.S. government did to our people. They didn't just put us in projects, brother. They decimated, the Black farmland. And we're going to talk about 4 areas in which they did that. Very interesting. Of course, we're going to talk about the USDA. We're going to talk about eminent domain. We're going to talk about the Homestead Act. And then we're going to talk about an interesting subject, convict leasing. And we're going to tie all of this into our current experience, because one of the other things they do is they have gotten Black people in the sense that we separate what they call the past. Although they don't do this, they go back all the way to the Romans telling you shit and bragging about it, and the Greeks. But our people want to cut our stuff off and say, oh, that was the old folks. Really? No, that was our lifeblood. And they sacrificed a lot for us to get to this point. Okay. And so the day of playing games with these people is over. Right. But I want to start out talking about the stolen lands. And I want to put the picture of that brother with the cowboy hat up there just for reference, so people will know. This brother right here.
I have 3 visuals that I got. I know there might be one more.
Okay.
But let me see. And so to the screen, I'm gonna have to hit it and
don't
see it
worry
up on the screen first.
Okay.
No, we good.
Talk about him. I'll just talk about
him.
No,
that's not
problem, Lance. So his name is it's okay.
Right.
No, his name is easily. He can easily be Googled. John Boyd Jr. Brother
John
with the
Boyd.
Yeah, John Boyd Jr.
John Boyd Jr. We're gonna pull up
Yeah,
one.
and he's
Yeah, I'll
the
get it. But go ahead
president.
talking about him, and I'll pull one up.
Okay, he's the president of the Black Farmers Association, the National Black Farmers Association.
Yeah.
This brother has a brilliant story. So I believe he was 18 years old when he purchased the farmland, some of the farmland. That's the one I was telling you that the white realtor spit on. Yeah, and so he could trace his ancestry back on that same land, all the way back. I think it was his great grandfather, then his grandfather, and then him. But he's been in farming, he said, all his life. His father taught him, about, and that back during that time, that actually, this is something, a lot of things that go on in our day, in our world today, that our people are unaware of simply because of the way that these people have narrated scripts, right? So he was saying that they had people that would come from different parts of the country, right? The USDA at that time, they could take deeds, and a lot of black people couldn't read or write, and they could just transfer the deeds into somebody else's name and say, "Oh, well, do you have proof of the deed?" So he was saying that his grandfather used to sleep with the deed under his pillow because, imagine, brother, you got these scandalous people walking around with crosses around their neck, quoting scriptures, and they're doing all this evil stuff to our people.
Yep.
So we're going to get in today. Again, greetings to you, brother, and to the family. And it's good to know that at least now some of us can see through the crystal ball and actually see what's going on. But
right.
By 1997, 90% of all black farmland was taken from black farmers. And today, only 2% of farms are owned by black people. Now that's very significant. We're talking about in less than a century, okay? From 1910 to 1997, black people own 20 million acres of land. Now, if you can even wrap your head around that, then it just opens a whole plethora of questions here. 20 million acres of land, well, where did it go?
Right. You can't just pick up land and throw it away somewhere.
Exactly. But they want to act as if this is what happened. But at the beginning of the 20th century, there were over 1 million black farmers. That's the brother, man. Powerful brother right there, man. And let me tell you, this brother is unapologetically black. And he breaks it down that and see, this is one of the reasons why they got us into this white boy suit wearing, slick talking way, pimp hustler, attitude. But he broke it down. He was like, we was the tillers of the land. We control the land.
Right.
But what they did is they made it seem as if being because all the rednecks, the terrorists, and the KKK that actually stole the land, they were uneducated. That's why they like uneducated. So, but they had a system where they would they knew they could go to the USDA, and we're going to get into some of the things that he talked about. This is the one I was telling you, a white man spit on him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for defending his own property and asking, well, what happened to the documents? And I told you before, Lance, I learned in the solar business about titles, what they were doing to Black people is amazing. Because a lot of them thought that, okay, your parents died, but you have to go and transfer that title into your name, okay? And this is another way that a lot of Black land is stolen and homes. So
that's
it's deep, brother. It's very, very deep. But when we finally get to convict leasing, this is something, because I heard there was a private prison that was complaining that they didn't have enough Black prisoners.
Oh,
and that's a whole different subject. And Lance, you know, they used to have the chain gangs, you know, or whatever, doing the work, building things for them, buildings and things like that, that they never even questioned if you were locked up, then you were subject to that. But back then, it was deeper than that because it was something called convict leasing. But let's talk about this term called environmental racism. Okay. And we talked about this before, but 200 Black cities underwater, 8 major Black cities burned down, and their citizens shot and unalived by roving white violent mobs such as the KKK.
So this is all they did. I mean, when you think about so-called American history, this is all they did.
Yeah.
It's just, you say 200 cities. You know what kind of effort it takes?
Exactly.
This is perpetual evil.
Yes.
And I mean, who of them who were good stepped up? Because people in their community who wear the crosses and claim Jesus, and the ones doing it were doing the same thing. But what I'm saying is that those by the sidelines, they just turned their head and said, "Oh well."
Yeah.
So don't come to me and come with the fight that there were some good ones.
Yeah.
You know, what's his name? The one who did the thing with the Underground Railroad. Okay, and there had to be a few more, but the overwhelming amount.
Yeah.
For hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years.
Coming to this point with the legalities of shape-shifting the paperwork to steal the land that you own from under your feet, that's going to feed you and empower you and give you a place to live. They didn't want that kind of power, but Black folks were putting the work in.
They was putting the work in, brother.
Right, but they wanted Black might and skill and strength. It's not just putting the work in, but having the knowledge to make things grow. They loved it when they had it, when it on them, and benefit from that. So now technically Black farmers in their mind are their own slaves that got away. So we're gonna do little things now, little technology to get back what is rightfully ours. They feel that way, and they still feel that way today. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, you bring up a good point, because a very important point, because take, for instance, Dr. George Washington Carver, who rotated the soil and taught them how. See, one of the reasons why unions, and it's so interesting, I heard one of them that, you know, runs, I guess, a governor of one of the largest states in the country. And see, these people are not stupid, okay? They deliberately lie. So he was saying that Blacks learned a lot of skills in slavery. No, white people learned the skills from us. See, this is the thing. There were, so Black farmers, this is the reason why they started unions, because the Black men had all the skills.
Right.
So they knew that if they allowed the Black men to continue with the land and the skills, where was that going to leave them? Just like today, where everything is, was skewed, now that the Creator has, you know, leveled the playing field, we see the true picture. But yeah, it's never been fair. And I remember something Malcolm said, that if you're playing in a card game and you're losing all the time, that person is not better than you. They're cheating. just from the odds, there's no way that somebody is going to beat you, in every card game, if you that given that you're equal skill. So at the end of the day, they had to do all these lies and these tricks while parading around like they're some high polluting, Holy Ghost filled. Yeah, I'm feeling this, brother, because this subject came out of. I was telling you, I get a chance to talk to people from different cultures here, and I ran into this. Well, we used to work for Just Energy together. And I ain't seen her in years. And I happened to run into her in Oakland when we were out there fundraising. This about 3 months ago. But she sent me a text recently. But I remember she told me, she said, Neil, I'm so sorry. I said, sorry about what? She said, of how our people treat Black people. And I said, well, what do you mean? Because she went up ahead. So apparently she has grown since a little time. Because there are certain people I would talk about certain things, but you had to be careful. I'm working for a corporation, all these people from around the different world, from around the world. So I had to be careful and pick and choose who I dealt with or hang out with or whatever. So she said, and she was getting all emotional and everything. She said, I didn't know, Neil. She said, I didn't know that Black people went through this. She said, our people were never told this. And she said, when we have to go through, I think they got to go through like a week of something to get some kind of, in some countries, the U.S. Embassy, they have to go there and they have to go through this indoctrination. She said, what they told us about Black people and the criminality, and all of the things with the welfare. And she was like, it was just overwhelming. We were literally afraid of Black people. She said, some of the warmest people I've met in my life, like you, Neil, and she hugged me. I was like, okay. I was like, well, I'm glad. That's why I never judge people too harshly, because now they're victims of these evil people that indoctrinate them.
Right. So they had the brainwashing on the other side.
Yeah, they do. And she was very sincere, and I was kind of taken aback. But in a way, I was justified, and I was not justified. I was feeling justified for our people because of all the labels and the lies that they have told other cultures about our people. And the last thing she said is, she said, Black people owned a lot of land in this country. I said, yeah. Yeah. And so,
as they should. Right.
But again, we go back to them acting like they had all of this, and that they got all of this land through their hard work, their belief in God, and that Black people were just there to work, till the land, like a domesticated animal. When it was our people. Oh, I found out something that was so amazing. Do you know that Benjamin Banneker's father was from the Dogon tribe? I never knew. So this was a gift that he inherited. That blew my mind.
Wow, the Dogons.
Yes, Benjamin Banneker, the brother who was the surveyor of Washington, D.C., that read the stars for Ellicott, the other surveyor. His father was a Dogon, and his mother was a Black woman that came from Europe. I guess she was a descendant from the Moors, and they met here in this country. That blew my mind. And so I started thinking about, well, what about all of our ancestors who own this land? They're still a part of our energy. So let's get into this a little bit. We talked about at the beginning of, let's see how this happened with our own government, the USDA. It was a system of cruel discrimination by the U.S. government, United States Department of Agriculture. Now, this was something, too, that really, really got to me here. But, of course, we know that this is something out of their playbook that they have always used to keep our people behind in all areas of human activity. So it took the USDA on average of 387 days to process a black farmer's application for a loan, thereby putting them in severe debt every year because their crops fail. Now, what do you see happening now? Whose crops are failing now?
America. I mean,
yeah,
but they're getting payback now.
Yeah,
you see,
exactly.
You can't look. The land, the earth, nature, and creation, and I'm learning every day that we're connected to it.
Oh yeah.
And so, when we're done wrong for so long, and nature knows that the earth and the land that you show love to and cultivating it for food to feed, we're supposed to love the earth, not to get lewd, but even our interactions with the earth, not only how we cut things and prune things and make sure they grow right, but nature has it that even the act of us doing a number one and number two is food for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like the trees give us oxygen, and we give back carbon dioxide. So when you upset that balance and do something cruel to somebody who is showing love to the earth, and the earth embraces us, you're going to get it back, and you won't have the ability to do what we do, no matter how many books you read or people teach you what we know. You see what I mean? Because we have an intimate relationship.
Yeah.
And this is why we have to come back to nature, because nature will always take good care of us if we do right by it.
Absolutely. And another thing that nature teaches us in that sense is that the weeds grow up with the plants. And they choke out a lot of our people because the energy and the spirit of those weeds take dominance over their natural connection. Right. So the other thing about this was that, in stark contrast, it only took 30 days to process white farmers' applications, ensuring they never lost a whole year of crops, keeping them solvent and prosperous.
Right.
And black farmers were denied loans by our own government, the USDA. And so when people talk about how, black people have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, when you got the USDA fighting against its own citizens, I think about how you were talking about how the cruelty of this, that they always try to hide the cruelty of their actions and their behaviors while demonizing our people at the same time. And think about the fact that here you go, you got black people. That's why I always fight for our ancestors, man. I can't let their spirits die, bro. If you got people that can't even understand what's on here, but I gotta rely on the good Christians to, have it in their heart to do the right thing, because we both saying Jesus, right? But it's the Christians that's doing it to you over almost 100 years. So again, this is what happened in 1998. The USDA admitted that decades of discrimination against black farmers led to the destruction and decline of black farmers. The settlement, $1 billion, was paid out to 20,000 farmers, and it took 11 years to pay out roughly $50,000 per farmer. Now, anybody that know anything about farmers, it takes about $150 a year to run a farm successfully. According to one farmer, it was too little too late. It was impossible to recover from the losses. And then there was massive loan and credit discrimination. And also the programs that they had for white farmers and the benefits that they got, they were excluded from this.
Mm-hmm.
So the USDA was sued by these black farmers who, and it, to this day, is the largest civil rights lawsuit in U.S. history.
So now you said how many million you said now?
Acres of land?
No, I'm just saying how much money was paid out again?
1 billion.
You said 1 billion
to 20,000 farmers.
Right. So it was $1 billion, and once that's broken down, that's not enough, man.
It's not enough.
20,000 and only $1 billion.
Yes, this is.
And these 1948s are getting all this money for free every year.
Yes.
Right.
And
for what?
Farmers, it only took them 30 days to have their applications successfully processed by the USDA. So that kept them ahead. Because once you got behind in a rotate, and this is what people don't realize about farming, America is done, bro. Because this 1 year that these crops fail, the way our system is set up on capitalizing on people and charging them ridiculous prices, there's no way that food is ever going to go back down to what it was. So people need to really, really wake up that these demonic people who now possess our land, they really have a power that the way that we can hit them back, again, what our people is doing through this $2 million. As a matter of fact, don't just boycott Christmas. See this brother here, Google his organization and send goddamn $20. Black people spend on an average $3,500 every holiday season. Send this brother $100. Let your children know who he is. Tell them who he is.
Right.
He's met with some prominent black politicians who tried to help him over this 40-year period. Tell your children, because this is what other cultures do that we don't do, particularly Asians. This is your grandfather. This is what it did, blah, 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 whatever. You're sending this amount of money to them, to this organization, because your father or grandfather was involved with that. They don't care nothing about, like, black folks. Oh, that nigga think he this and that. What do you think? They don't even think like that. Our mindset is what's going to destroy us. And we have to get serious about this now, because the other thing that's happening is a lot of these people that's deported, a lot of these people have homes. The black folks that they are taking, they're making sure they can't pay their mortgages now. All this is by design. This is the same playbook.
Right.
Shutting down the government, doing all this stuff they're doing. So I wanted to make a statement about this brother in regards to us sending money to him. This is something we can directly affect. Not just we're so interested in making white folks feel our pain that we ain't doing nothing for ourselves. The way you make them really feel pain is, okay, then like the black folks with the Montgomery boycott. They didn't ride no buses. They had their own Uber system set up. Now, again, we got all these educated, so-called smart people. Okay, it's time to step up. Nobody cared nothing about, what you got, who you are, none of that. We are in a war that they're going to destroy black people right now if we don't fight back the right way, and we can.
But that's the way it's been on all fronts, and it's like standing by the shore or the beach, looking for the enemy, and he's in a submarine. You can't see the submarine. But all of these covert ways and they take their time and they plan, and you have some people who are, I don't think so. we went to 2025 and all of them ain't bad.
No, they're planning now.
Yeah.
They've been planning.
But like I said, with all that was done all those years against us with the farmland and taking it away and killing people and doing this stuff, and we still think, like the one young lady who said, oh, I didn't know or whatever. Maybe she didn't know as much, but she sat around with her family around the dinner table when they talking about us. She heard things when they talking about us. You know what I mean? So miss me with that. I'm saying people like that. I'm not here to be a charity to soothe you because you didn't know.
Right.
We should turn that love inward on ourselves and take the initiative, like you said, and donate to a brother like this.
Yeah.
Talk to him. I'd like to reach out to him and get him on the podcast.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, like vibe and show and share. Do your part.
They ain't never gonna. So this brother, he ain't somebody that they are prepping up as an image that our young people should look forward to. No.
See?
They're not propping him up like that. And again, the reason why our people turned away from farming, because on the one hand, they were showing you these rednecks that actually their families were the ones, when you go back far enough, that were the terrorists that took the land. So that making you think you got to be dumb and stupid. No, you have to be one of the smartest people in the world to be a farmer and be connected to how you, you're dealing with those flies again.
Mosquitoes.
Mosquito. Oh boy.
Yeah. There's just one, trying to get at me, hovering around.
Oh yeah.
It's just like our enemy. They get around us and,
they can send,
call the bluff and we get used to seeing them. And when they're around and start trying to figure, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
As soon as you see them, pop.
Oh yeah. They're trying to plant something in you.
Yeah, but I'm ready for them. I've been to that one good time with that malaria, but I'm ready for them. I got all I need to combat that.
Before we go into how all of this was done, the three main tools in their arsenal kit. Over its history, the USDA discriminated against Black farmers through practices like denying loans and federal benefits, intentionally delaying, like we were saying, or misplacing application. Oh, I'm sorry, we lost your application. They didn't have no computers back then. And systematically excluding them from programs and subsidies. Like today, the local USDA officials, county committees, and loan officers often exhibited bias, leading to higher rates of foreclosures, debt, and lost land. So the first picture I want to put up, Les, thank you. Yeah, you guys get in touch and donate to this brother, National Black Farmers Association. Because a lot of times they try to make you feel helpless because we don't have, particularly when we have incidences where people collecting millions of dollars and then they come up empty with our people. It's disheartening.
Yeah.
But we have people who represent like this. We have to support them. Okay.
And we have to make the enemy see that we support them. But how are we going to support them if the information doesn't go out? And so, here we are scrolling on TikTok with foolishness, and the real stuff should be there. And we should be sharing it and putting the pictures up, talking about it. Let people say, well, who is that? Who's that they're talking about?
Right.
They see him on the street and they say, yo, they were talking about you, man, on this show. Yes. What is this all about?
Yeah.
Rouse some interest. But it's sports, celebrities, who's screwing who is doing this and this and that. And we got the shorts bombarding our brain. You get on there, you see one thing for 60 seconds and you go for the next one. It's addictive. And the next one. Well, why not even if you do that, share some of the, I got some good people here in the chat room and in the circle of this platform that share some wonderful things with me. But on the fringe, there are people who throw me hundreds of things that are foolishness. You know how many butts people send me? Yo, man, look at this girl butt, man. Oh, come on, man. Clogging me up. This is why sometimes I don't get a chance to answer back the legitimate material or emails or text messages because so much is sent. All the different types of fights or different. I mean, seeing us in a downtrodden position. And again, sometimes you see something that's funny. Sometimes you look at it for a second, but that's not. That's not. Look, when you do a show, when you do it, you know how much it takes. So make the banner, do this, do that, write something up. What I'm not complaining because I love what we do, but all during the week you see. Now tomorrow I may not be able to do as much. I got something to do, but I'm still going to try to do a lot. You know what I mean? Now it's time to ramp up because when you are speaking a certain way, like even this channel here, comments are not getting on the videos. We have people here who say some wonderful things. That's a beautiful thing. But it won't even go up there. They're shadow banning even more.
I know.
Because I'm not discouraged. When they took the channel out, I'm not discouraged. I'll just keep throwing. That's the way I am.
Yeah.
See? So when they can't discourage you, and when you push for something, it's their goal and their mission to tear you down. And they have more unity in their hate against us than we do in the love that we have for each other, which we're not doing as we should. I mean,
and particularly
every week you research things you put your time to. We're here now for this time, but you've been doing it all week. You see what I mean? To come here to do this for years. So we need to redirect our energy even just to forward something, to click. That's all. The same finger you take to pick your nose or to point at somebody when you gossiping. Mm-hmm. It just takes that much. Sorry, brother. Keep going.
No, I agree with you. It's frustrating. And I had to admit something to myself. When I say frustrating, I don't mean I'm angry at anybody in that sense, but it's frustrating to know that they can keep doing the same things to our people, and then we're passing it down to the next generation as if, and we're constantly talking about this. We know that we have a common enemy. They know when they up against a real man, like a land scourge, we know they're going to try to tear you down. We know this, but yet our people continue to fall prey to this stuff by denouncing different things that they don't agree with from an emotional level. There are a lot of things I don't agree with or don't like. But when I weigh it against the real truth, I know I'm in the ring with a real satanic force, okay, that is against Black people all over the world. I don't care what title you call yourself, okay? If you have melanin, they are after you, okay? So you can keep this nonsense up all you want, but that ain't gonna change anything. We see that they come now. There are, if we were talking about bitches and hoes or thugs or who got clapped this last week or did it, I guarantee you that whatever is their YouTube, they would have no problem letting all of that, the algorithms get that. Oh, it would be out there, bro.
Yep.
But nobody cares like what your personal interest is. Okay, that's fine. But you got to understand something, that the world is bigger than just you. Okay, and we all have our issues. We all have things we have to deal with. But now, if you don't come together, thank you, Creatrix. I was going to get to that point. If you don't come together now that this vortex has been open for you, then your own destruction is coming. I'm talking Black folks. With this nonsense, it's time to stop this nonsense. Now, I heard, and I'm going to get back to this, but I heard that there was a group of Black women that were going to these KKK type men and organizations, telling them to turn, keep the heat on black men. Now, I don't know if this is true or not.
I heard that.
You heard that?
Yeah.
And so we're looking at a situation. If we don't take control of what's really happening and what's in front of us, then we're going to implode as a people.
Yeah.
The other thing we got to look at too is, and I go back to something I've heard several of our scholars say, okay, let's say we do get reparations. Let's say these folks say, okay, you're on your own. What you going to do? You're going to take the Christianity you learn from them and take it wherever you go? Who's going to pick up the trash? Who's going to, but you only want to date these Hollywood type, thuggery type images they put in front of you and then complain. But here's the real problem. Who's going to pick up the trash? Who's going to keep the water clean? What are you thinking about? We ain't got time. We are a de facto nation. And if we get land back, you're going to have to run that land. And this is what Dr. John Henry Clark warned us about. We need to be focused on nation running. Who do you think, what you going to hire white corporations to run your businesses or your corporations or what have you in your communities?
That's like running back to the plantation after being so-called freed.
But that actually happened to our people, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't have a choice. They had, when they came off those plantations, they didn't have no money, they didn't have no food, they didn't have no education. But you know what they did? That's why I love to listen to the slave narratives. They they were so humble. They took what little they have and they checked on the other person. So this what we need, this what we get. And when they had church, when they went to church, they was in them basements planning, okay? That's the big difference. There wasn't nobody just standing in the pool. They did that long enough for the master to walk by and say, oh yeah, they having church. And they be making, but they had a group of them in that basement, like my dad and them used to do. And they was planning, okay? This our next move, okay? Now you got somebody standing with a chain that's worth $1 million around their neck with bling bling and got a Rolls Royce outside and preaching down to you about Peter and Paul. There never was nobody that existed named Peter and Paul. Now, how about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I got the proof.
And we're so proud when the pastor has more flash.
Oh, yeah.
We'll brag to other people who are not in that church that we're in, and we'll say how much of a better car that my pastor has over yours, or we have more members than yours.
Right.
Is that something?
Did you hear about the social experiment? This I think it was a young white girl that did this, where she had a baby crying in the background saying a baby needed some Similac, and she called the different churches. I know you heard about that.
Something about that. So, tell me.
Yeah. And it was like 7 supposedly drug dealers that offered to buy the Similac, but the only 2 churches that responded were black churches. All other white mega churches, none of them responded. And this was a white girl.
Wow.
So, but yet, they'll tell you that now, I want to ask a question. Is the Jesus you talking about with CK and them and these white supremacists and these white nationalists, Nazis, is that the same one in the Bible, in the scripts they quoting? Because I'm really confused, bro.
Well, I mean, look at the results of Christianity on our people from back in the motherland. Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
I mean, I'm confused because the Jesus that they are following now, or they have been following for centuries, this is like a gangster, a street, a mafioso Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. Those are the ones that it's not the meek Caesar Borgia one that they have our people doing this to. So it's like he has a twin, either that or he's bipolar. I don't know. It's something. It's got, because he's two different personalities. I just want to know. So our people are worshiping the Caesar Borgia one, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about. Thank you, brother. I want to talk about how did white people get all this land? Let's talk about the Homestead Act. I want to go through this real quick because this created the wealth gap that we have that have existed for centuries. That's why when you hear people say, "Well, I didn't own no slaves," really? Okay, you didn't own any slaves. Let me think about that for a minute. Let's talk about the Homestead Act, okay? The Homestead Act in 1862 was a U.S. law that passed in 1862 that gave federal land to individuals to encourage westward expansion and economic growth. Now, when you say individuals, you know they ain't talking about black folks.
Right.
Okay, they received 160 acres of land, and the applicants had to be citizens, so that knocked black folks out right away because you wasn't citizen or full citizen.
Mm-hmm.
They had to pay a small filing fee and then live and improve the land and cultivate the land for 5 years. And this act negatively impact black people and Native Americans. Now, the Bush Foundation has the research on this, one of our former presidents. And again, you know, this is what the legacy of a president of a country should be, not to erase real history of the country, but as a tool for growth and development to learn from your mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Bush Foundation Research Center did a study on the wealth gap, and they compiled the data on it. And it said the Homestead Act of 1862 contributed to the modern wealth gap by providing land to white Americans who could build generational wealth, while systemic barriers prevented many black Americans from benefiting. This historical pattern of government policies facilitating wealth for white families while simultaneously excluding black families established an economic disparity that has persisted and grown throughout other programs like land grants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in land grants, the act granted 270 million acres of land, wow, primarily to white settlers, enabling them to build assets. At the same time, they created barriers for black Americans through the Homestead Act, which disproportionately benefited white Americans because of the racial discrimination and social economic disadvantages black Americans had to endure, such as being denied land promised, like 40 acres and a mule, after the Civil War. And then, of course, through redlining. Now, we're going to talk about eminent domain real quickly. Seneca Village, Central Park, New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 1825, a huge black settlement. By 1855, over 50% of blacks owned their own homes because of their ability to claim residency and pay $250. The black men were allowed to vote. However, in 1853, 775,000 acres of land in Manhattan was taken by the U.S. government using the law of eminent domain. Destroyed in 1857 and founded in 1825 by free Black Americans. Their land was taken, and Central Park was created as a result. And you know more about that than me, brother.
Central Park is huge, man. It's a lot of land. When you look at it as far as the whole scope of history, as we all advance in our chronological years, you have to still say that was the other day. I mean, none of us were born then, but when you really look at it, how time passes by, that wasn't too long. And look what they do to it now. I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful park and the trails, but come on.
Yeah.
You know, that's a damn shame. And the way the unwritten rule has been, even in Manhattan years ago, where you had 110th Street, right? From 110th Street, which is the last street higher up on by Central Park, you can be on 100th Street, 105th, 108th, but as soon as you crossed 110th Street, it was all Black.
Across 110th Street, that song by Bobby Womack in the movie.
Just like, yeah, across 110th Street.
Yeah.
And that was the unwritten rule, like, past that is all Blacks. Now they gentrified Harlem. You know, Bill Clinton and his wife got that in the state building offices. And now more and more because they're pushing up, because in Manhattan, there's nowhere else to go. It's a very narrow, I mean, it's long to walk across, but it's a narrow island. So they had to get rid of that. And cabs back in the day, if you were down in Midtown Manhattan, the Village, or even 59th Street where Central Park begins, and you took a cab, even if you wanted to get to 112th Street, 2 blocks over, the cabs, no, I'll drop you off at 109, and you walk the rest. And they weren't picking anybody up, and they didn't want to go up there because they weren't taking no return trips. So this is how the cabs do. When you go somewhere, you want to also bring somebody back. This is off topic, but what I'm saying is that before that, 110th Street, unwritten theory, Black folks had Central Park.
Absolutely.
See? And now you see little white ladies with the poodles walking through, and it's supposed to be, but look what it was. And they took it away.
Yeah.
Harlem is going to go the same way. It's going to push up even more, because where I was born and raised was 152nd Street between Amsterdam and St. Nicholas. 125th Street, man, is a Black Mecca. Markets and Africans, and you go down there, just food and the festivities.
Is that where Sylvia's is? Sylvia's? Is that where that club Sylvia's is?
Sylvia is not too far from there. Yeah,
I remember going there one time. I visited my brother. Yeah.
Anywhere we have a hub, anywhere we have our commerce, anywhere we're living peaceful, they got to go stick the finger in there, and take it from us and mess it up.
Yeah.
So when I look at how they want the global digital currency, right? And I go down to Accra, and I see people with cash, their cash here in Ghana, the CD. How is that going to affect that? How are they going to push that on people? How are they going to push that on people way out in the country, hundreds of miles, where they just dealing cash? I mean, this is how much they want control. They want to control the cash. They want to control you with your land. And many people won't realize that earlier in the year, I got my citizenship less than a year ago in December. But January and right after December, when Umar got it, how did he get it? I mean, he's crooked. How did he get it? He's going to be used as a tool. But after that, Lebanese, Chinese, Turkish people, they had, and it wasn't publicized because I'm close with the guy that helped me to get it. and he runs unofficially, and he lets us all know in a WhatsApp group. Even he was shocked that he didn't know that there was a secret ceremony, quick, and had all of these Lebanese, and they were wearing dashikis. They don't care about the culture. They're coming here to do business up here in the mountain, past where I live. Nothing but them driving past, and I'm waiting for the van, big Benzes and big, making money.
Wow.
But those who are here, they don't have any connection. See? So it's a lot of things going on in this game that when something's going on over here to your left, make a notation of it, but also look to the other side. Keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Understand everything fits toward our destruction, no matter where we are, or to put us in a subservient position to always benefit somebody else, because they'll never come to you and say, hey, here's an opportunity. Let's see, work it. And there are many of us who accept the subservient position. I heard a brother here, a Ghanaian brother here, having a conversation with a Turkish man. And the Ghanaian brother said, oh, we need you to start a business so we can work there. We need you to come from another country to start a business so you can work there in the land that's yours, in the country that's yours.
Wow.
So you don't have any faith in yourself? You can't get together with the other Ghanaian brothers and say, hey, we're here, let's do this so our people can feed into what we're doing and we benefit the community.
He actually said that to a foreigner?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And that's the mentality. That's the mentality. I can go, we're going to continue with what you're saying, but I can go on more and more with that.
That's unfortunate.
These guys, they're neutered, man. I'm not saying everybody, because those who are here, who are from here, who have status, they treat the ones who don't have much or don't think much like they're nothing. So you don't worry about racism here as much.
So there's
classism.
There's like a bourgeois class there, right?
It's classism.
Yes.
And them secret handshakes are here too, and that's what it's all about. Big time.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh no, I see it.
Yeah.
And them noses are up in the air, and they'll work these guys and not even pay them. They'll work them, and these guys come around with nothing. Coming from the villages, they come for their pay. Oh, get out of here! I'm not paying you. I've seen that.
You know, it's interesting what you're talking about, because this next topic we want to talk about, convict leasing, is very, very close to what you're talking about. The only difference in the sense is that it's not forced labor, but it's forced in the sense of a mindset. But a couple of other places that they use eminent domain in history that was kind of stood out was Black Bottom and Paradise Valley in Detroit in the 1940s and 50s, and they use urban renewal and highway construction to build Chrysler Freeway and Lafayette Park. And they completely dismantled the Black community. Tens of thousands of Black residents displaced. I remember that story about that Detroit community. And see, that's why they have highways through a large portion of Black cities, the communities that were left during that time. It was by design. And the last one I wanted to mention was the destruction of Haiti in Durham, North Carolina in 1960s. They used the same excuse, urban renewal, and the eminent domain law to build Durham Freeway, which is Highway 147, and build modern downtown in Durham, North Carolina. But this conflict leasing thing is real deep. I think I mentioned to you that I heard that in 2025, you had some private prisons complaining to the government that they're not getting enough black prisoners. Okay. So convict leasing was a system of forced penal labor in the southern United States, where states leased out prisoners who were overwhelmingly black to private individuals and corporations. Now, that's similar to what you're saying right there. The only difference is the removal of the fact that these were incarcerated men. But if you're a prisoner in your own mind, what's the difference?
Right.
So, and this was a cruel system because, of course, the chain gang in different places, and in the South, in Georgia, in Alabama, South Carolina, places like that. And to this day, some of those, I heard something about Arkansas. They still have, so the way that came about was, like, black men could get arrested for stealing a pack of bubblegum. So what they would do is they would say, okay, well, you have a choice. You can either go to jail, or I can lease you out for a year to somebody where I know we'll get compensated for the crime that you committed. Now imagine now you being subject, and it wasn't so much that it wasn't that they stole anything. It could be something that they didn't do that they was expected to do, that for whatever reason they may have forgotten, or they just didn't do it.
Right.
Then they would be charged with a crime.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so when they got charged with this crime, the majority of them, they did lock up. And so they would use them to sell to different corporations. A lot of stuff that gets built are built by these prisoners. So that puts you in the mind of the fact that slaves built this country, but they continue to build to this day.
Exactly.
Black prisoners are used in a lot of these little small towns and stuff. You know, they have prisoners out there. Sometimes you can see them on the side of the road.
Always.
Somebody stand over you with a 30-06.
Exactly. I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
I know. And you know what that does to us though, overall? Many of our brothers who may not think beyond the environment they grew up in. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying there are a lot of brothers who they grew up somewhere and that's their world.
Yeah.
And when they end up getting incarcerated to that point where they're in prison, and just like you said, the example of when they're on the side of the road, and many begin to embrace that as normalcy. Like they can't see beyond that.
Right.
And then you get out. We know there's obstacles because they were incarcerated, but it's easy to accept that boundary. And just to get a little money and be able to sleep on somebody's couch. I'm not saying everybody, because some have defeated the odds, but they're broken is what I want to say. You know?
Something, there are, like, today, so this whole Hollywood thing and the celebrities and the rappers and all of this was designed to glorify that culture. So what they did was they made it seem like it was some type of badge of honor for you to, commit atrocities against your own community and then go to jail and then brag about how many times you've been to prison. Like that makes you some super nigga or something like that. But you mainly preying on your own people destroying our culture, and then bringing in a defeatist mentality that was inbred by people who don't like you, incarcerate you, use you, and try to turn you into a wild beast and into a female, and all of these other things that they try to do to demasculate Black men. And then you turn right around and glorify that in music and in other ways, you know, and then our children, they look up to that, just like they used to do with the back in the old school with the pimps and the, you know, the pimps, the players, the hustlers,
right,
the drug dealers, like, and then, you know, the ball players. So you had maybe 7 careers that you could look at that, you know, that the white media glorified, you know, in your own community, that gave you some sense of being. And so, you know, while at the same time, I know that this system is wicked and what it did to us, but we have to take some accountability too about the structure that we have in our community that we've allowed to do. Now, what you do in your own time, you know, you can do whatever you want. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you have a platform or you have some way of influencing people and you're putting out a message that's degrading our culture, or any culture for that matter. Other people that look like you that may live in different parts of the world. This is, you know, this is something that we have created that is going to be very detrimental, where we should be focusing on, okay, yeah, we're going to boycott Christmas, but then what you going to do with all that other money? Because I guarantee you, at some point, if Black folks are not going to spend it on Christmas, they're going to spend it somewhere. They're going to spend it somewhere. So it
will still always come around to Christmas, because if they have female company that may have the same mindset, they may not really get into it, but because she's doing it, he's going to be right there with them.
Yeah.
You know, our sisters can influence us good or bad. So if you have one who is into that heavily, that's where his time and money is going to go. And just the same way on the flip side, the pendulum swings the other way. You get a good sister that can make you knock out the world for her and yourself and build. You know, so it all depends.
No, but you're right. For the most part, they are the ones that, and again, we have to look at the Jesus factor. They're the ones that perpetuate this Christmas theory, theology, because it gives them an emotional support, as well as it gives them the opportunity to, you know, to worship Caesar Borgia, because for some crazy reason that gives them some kind of feeling of authority. Without realizing that when they do that, they cut out Black virility. But I just want to say something about Christmas, because see, again, if we pay attention, we can debunk a lot of the lies. First of all, the North Star appears in that side of the world, Sirius, and as early as July. Okay, so they tell you a story about some wise men being led by the North Star, which can't be true in December. So if you went back to your natural state and reading the stars and being connected with nature, you would automatically know that that's impossible. Right. So what that means is you've accepted something that's false, and you've made it your God, and you've taught your children that this is what truth is. And anytime we try to correct it, then, you know, something is wrong with us. But at the end of the day, there is no way that this so-called mythical figure could have been born on that date if the wise men were led by Sirius B, the North Star, because it appears in that time again, we lived according to our helical rising. So we knew that in July, August, what have you, that star was going to appear. So if you said you celebrated his birth during the heliacal rising, then okay, I can kind of say blah blah blah. But what they're really, and I'm not going to go into that today because that's a whole nother subject. But at the end of the day, it's our mindset that keeps us trapped in the position that we're in. And we're taking good steps towards eradicating that, but we still have a lot we got to get out, and we got to refocus on what's important. So again, the fact that we have less than 3 million farmlands, 3 million acres of farmland left is a tragedy. We have less than 20,000 farmers, so we need to build them up. You need to find out the farmer or the farmland that's in your region of where you live in the country. And the last thing I want to say, brother, is I'm calling for Black folks during that period, during the month of December, not to give any so-called tithes and offerings, and to redirect that money to the Black farmers of America and show them the real power we have.
Right.
Yeah. So with that, I'll end the show, brother.
That's right.
And thank you again.
Yes, brother.
Man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for all the work that you do, man. Keep up the great work. And I know that a lot of the energy that we put out, it's going where it's supposed to go with the family and with other places that it goes. That they try to hide and say, well, blah blah blah. Nobody listens to your data and your lies anymore, because we know that they better worry about what's going to happen to Donald Trump and Bubba, because that's a whole can of worms that just opened up.
That for real, for real. That there, but in a sense, it shouldn't surprise us.
Right.
These people, it's so decadent, and they dress up and the whole ceremony, and we're supposed to honor them this way with these titles, and they're laughing at us because we look at them a certain way, and little do we know the lives they live in these inner circles and what they have to do to prove. It's high stakes for them. So no matter whether they call themselves Democrat, Republic, whatever, it's all one thing, and it's a us against them thing. Them being us and them, being us, who we are. They have their bunkers, they have their underground stuff to run to if something jumps off. They got their money, they're set. They don't care.
No, they don't.
About us. Do you care about the toilet tissue that you use after you go to the bathroom? You flush that bad boy, you're not thinking about it no more. Sorry to be lewd, but that's what we are to them. And the moment we understand that they don't care about us, no concern, they posture. These people are really not even human. If they were partially, they're humankind, but they don't have souls, they don't have empathy, they don't care. As high as they're flying with money and access and health coverage and bodyguards and Secret Service cover them for us, they're straight.
Speaking of toilet paper, what was the #1 thing when the C9 thing came out, 19?
And they were buying up
all the toilet paper you couldn't find. So what's going to happen now if Black folks can't get toilet paper? We don't manufacture anything.
You better get that designated rag and wash it out, hang it up, let it dry, and use it again. We got to get economical.
We better figure out how we're going to produce some toilet paper, because there's a lot of shit that's coming down the pipe. All right, my brother. Well, peace and love.
Yes, brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Hit me up, man.
Okay,
Hit me up.
will.
Now, I want to say all my apps are not back in my new phone, so I'm really working through WhatsApp a lot. I know you don't have that, but if you can, or just email me, we'll wrap. All right?
Okay, for sure.
Thank you so much, brother. All right.
Hold on to the belt.
Much love, brother. Thank you. Yes, all right. Another one. Mad Guns, I see you. Welcome on in. We're ending it up this right now. I'm on a roll. I'll probably do a little something and come back with something short. I'll close my eyes and got to keep the energy going, the information going. Yeah, we can have fun. We can do what we do, but donate some of our energy and our time to something righteous to help us up collectively. That's the bottom line, you know, and just be aware of where you are, what's being fed into your mind. Keep your filters up, keep yourself sharp, and keep motivated. And the things that they put out to just clog up our brains, we got to reject it mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's the only way to go. Anyway, much love to you all. I will see you in a little while. I'm cooking something up right now, and we're not talking on the stove. I'm doing some writing of some notes and different stuff, and let's see what we can come up with. But thank you for being here. Thank you for spreading the stuff. Thank you for the support, and just even your presence. That means a whole lot to me. That's the validation from my people that I need. No one else. Thank you. Peace.
Yeah.